Hi Deepika ma'am, we are live on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. Should I start admitting everyone? You're on mute.
Always. This always happens to me. So Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all three together, right?
Yes, we are live
That's
everywhere.
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we can,
There
as
are
a
a bunch of
panelist here.
people.
Oh,
There are a bunch of people in the waiting room. I'll
hmm,
actually make you co-host, and then you can
sure.
let people in as you like.
Madhura's here. Madhura, Aarti, and Renu. Can you see them? Okay,
Mm.
let me see. Oh, yeah, I can't see them.
It's 5:56. I think we can in general
Hmm,
also start letting people in. What do you
hmm.
think? Madhura ma'am is
Um,
here.
yes, wait. I've admitted her. Hi, Madhura. You got a bunch of people waiting. Should I start letting them in?
Yeah,
Renu and Aarti. Huh?
yeah. Please.
Hi,
Yes.
ma'am,
Okay.
again, and you'll be happy to hear we're live on all three platforms after a very long time. So everyone should be able to see us live on LinkedIn
So
this time.
happy
Yashasvi,
about it.
how are you in two places at the same time?
Yeah.
I am not. I'm
Firstly,
going back there.
all right. Also, Yashasvi, thank you so much for pulling this off. Really,
This
thank
is
you so much.
brilliant.
You've
My
been a brick.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Absolutely
really.
brilliant.
My
Absolutely
pleasure.
brilliant.
I still have
Yeah.
my old background, but I'll just put that off very quickly. And I'll make you host, Deepika
Super.
ma'am.
All right. All right. Can you
Okay.
also make 1 second? Is Jaita here? And
No, we have Purvika here. But get these others in, please.
Jasmine. Okay, I'm making Jasmine also so that if she wants, she can put in the form. And Netika. Uh, I'm letting people in as well.
I'll actually make Natika the host
Yes, that's better.
because I think
That's
she's
better.
from her laptop, right?
Yeah. Perfect. So she can put in the form.
Okay,
Now,
I'll come in
I
back at around 7, whenever you want me to end the live streaming. And
sure.
all the
Sure.
best. Bye
You're
bye.
Thank you
absolutely
so much.
brilliant. Okay,
Bye-bye.
you're absolutely brilliant.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. We're going to wait for about 5 minutes to start. But welcome to EntrepreNaari by Aspire for Her. Give us 5 minutes and we will start with a very interesting event.
So Renu and Aarti are we're waiting for them. Hi, Yashika. Samruddhi, good to see you.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi. I believe you were very busy for the last few days.
Yes. Like I am traveling to Amravati right now in the car only.
Oh God, okay. Nandika, how are you doing on your latest reels? Yeah,
Good.
it's very nice to see you. Nice to see you, Purvika. Great stuff happening on Not Alone and the impact.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we have Muskan, Dhwani. Hey, Shalvi. Good evening. I can't see you though.
I can see Shruti. Hi, Shruti. I'm just mailing them the link again, just in case.
Hey, Natika, how are you?
Hello, ma'am. I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Okay, we have Rishti.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Rishti. We're just waiting for guests to arrive.
Hi, Madhura.
Hi. Hi, Kanchan. I was just messaging you saying, hey, thank you for passing on the message to others and thank you for joining.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Actually, I think Bhavna, she mentioned that she knows you.
Yes, of course.
Small world.
Absolutely. How do you know Bhavna?
So we did a course together, basically in Mumbai. This is in 2018.
Okay.
And this was sponsored by Work Hard Foundation.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So we did it for together, and so we've been in touch ever since.
Very nice. So she does some amazing work. And in fact, Bhavna was also part of this cohort that Renu and I were part of. I'm just wondering whether they have joined us or not. I could join in. Renu is, why is Renu saying she's waiting to be let in? Deepika, Netika, can you see somebody in the waiting room?
Ma'am, I've let everybody in.
I can't see them. I think there's a link. I'm just calling them. 1 second.
Yeah. Should I just send that link once in a while? I use that link that you had given.
I resent it to them. 1 second.
Yeah. Maybe they've used the old link. Okay, is Aarti there? Deepika, you're posting the link? Okay, guys, maybe all of you can just quickly introduce yourselves a little bit and where you are, so that we can get to know the room. And meanwhile, I'm just going to copy this link and put it on to hoping that they come in. Okay, guys, maybe you could just go on the chat and tell us a little bit about who you are, where you are. So maybe we can start with our team itself, whoever is from Aspire for Her, if you could just start off. Your name and your location. Mahek, you can start.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you.
No worries, I've got people have. So Samruddhi is in Amravati right now. Anju is from Kerala. Brishti is from Kolkata. Naitika is from Mumbai. Nandika is from Mumbai. Jasmine is from Mumbai. Okay, Nayan, I can see you. Shalvi from Patna. Hello, Shalvi. Ronnie is from Mumbai. Mahek is from Mumbai. Now finally we have Renu. Fantastic. Sorry about the confusion with the link. Sania from Gurgaon. Shruti from Patna. Purvika from Chennai. Ishta from Patna. I can see Aarti also now. Fantastic. Okay. Okay. Muskan from UP. Aligarh. Okay. Okay. Warm welcome, Renu, Aarti. I have been wanting to do this for so long. to have you guys on the Aspire for Her platform. And, finally, we are doing it today. So really, really excited. And thank you so much for joining us on the EntrepreNaari platform. In case you all did not know, this is the first ever event that we are doing for EntrepreNaari, which we just launched last Sunday with a little Instagram live. And I shared with some of you that this was my first ever Instagram live. And I decided to let go of my inhibitions and start off in this new model and new format of engagement. But Navya was very kind, so Navya and I went live together, and thankfully we think it went well, because there seems to be a huge amount of interest in EntrepreNaari in general, and so that really makes us very excited about the way forward. So so Renu, Aarti, warm welcome once again. I will hand over to Deepika, who leads EntrepreNaari for us, and then we'll quickly get started. There are people from across the country who are here, right from north, south, east, west, everywhere.
Thank you so much, Madhura. I'm really excited to see so many people. We're also beaming live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So hi to everyone who's watching. This is our first event for EntrepreNaari, but what really is EntrepreNaari? So let me give you a little brief. I'm first going to tell you a little bit about Aspire for Her, which is the organization and which is the mother brand. It was started by Madhura on the 8th of March last year, Women's Day. Aspire for Her is a impact-driven gender diversity organization. What this means is that we have a simple mission. We want to see additional 1 million women in the workforce by 2025. And to do that, we've got several things in place. One, of course, is a lot of learning. So we work with women to provide a lot of workshops, learning interventions, learning cohorts that can help women in their professional journey. We also have mentoring. We've got a long list of very, very senior mentors, both men and women. And the best part is, if you're a member of this community, Aspire for is a community-based organization. And if you're a member with us, you get one-on-one mentoring with all our mentors. You just have to write into Madhura and you can book a slot, which is absolutely amazing. There's a whole lot of other things that we do. There's a lot of peer communities that we have. We also have a very interesting thing where a lot of volunteers with us, young girls who work with us. In fact, you can sign up for our ambassador program as well. A lot of young girls with us actually get an opportunity to teach other young girls, workshops on LinkedIn, workshops on Canva, super, super fun. Now, the thing is, Aspire for Her has women from all ages and all levels in their professional journey, which is what led us to make sub-communities, right? So we have a sub-community of women in colleges where we have different kinds of events. Then we have a sub-community called Return to Work Network, which is a community of women who have been on a career break, but really want to come back into the workforce now. There is a community of women in bank tech. There is also a community of women who have been affected by COVID. EntrepreNaari is the latest community that we had launched just last Sunday, because entrepreneurship is also a professional career choice. And there's so many of us who, want to set up businesses or have businesses, small, big, large. So we wanted to make a little sub-community which provides everything that a business owner could possibly need to set up and grow and scale her business. This includes business services like, website builders, social media agencies. It includes a lot of learning. It includes, events like this. So that's what EntrepreNaari is. In case you're an aspiring or existing business owner, I will put a form, or one of my team members will put a form in the chat. Do not hesitate to fill that up and become a member of this community. And today we have a really, really cool event set up, which is all about social enterprises. Madhura was a part of the STEP, the Shakti, the Empathy Project cohort, and she has wonderful things to say about that. So Madhura is going to be talking all about scaling social enterprises with no one else than Renu and Aarti, who have been a part of this journey. Renu runs STEP. She's the founder of Shakti, the Empathy Project. Aarti, our other panelist, is the co-founder of the Farmers for Forest, which is also a social organization. I hand it over to you, Madhura. I've got my tea because I know this is going to be a very, very interesting conversation. I hand it over to you, Madhura.
Thank you so much. And just, I think, for the privilege of everyone else here, I have spoken so much about Renu, about Shakti, about all my cohort members, that I think, they decided that, listen, why don't you just get a bigger team together and have a proper conversation with all of them? And that's what we're doing as the first ever event of EntrepreNaari. So very proud and very happy once again to welcome all of you here, and especially with Renu and Aarti. In our country, if women in employment is a poor statistic, women in entrepreneurship is a horrible statistic. And women in social entrepreneurship, I think, is the most difficult equation of all, because social enterprises in our country have some serious struggles and some serious problems that they have to face. And it is a very lonely journey. What Shakti, the Empathy Project, actually does is it helps a group of social entrepreneurs get together, grow together, learn together, and ensure that by the time that they've finished their program, they are actually far stronger and ready to stride out into the world and to dream big. I'm not saying this just to make Renu or Aarti feel happy. I'm saying this absolutely from the deepest recesses of my heart. So with that, I'm going to start with Renu, and I'm feeling very happy because I'm getting to ask the questions here, and Renu and Aarti will be answering the questions. I'm going to ask Renu first about her own career, her own journey as an entrepreneur, and how did you ever come up with Shakti, the Empathy Project for social women entrepreneurs? I mean, how did that ever happen?
Thank you, Madhura. First of all, I have to congratulate you for this wonderful platform. I know you came to STEP with Aspire for Her, and I've just seen Aspire for Her growing in last so many months, and it's a moment of pride for me. And I keep saying that it's such a proud moment for me, as much as it's for you. So congratulations to you and the whole team for not just putting this event together, but everything that you've been doing. So fantastic. Now, about entrepreneurship, if I have to talk about my own journey, it's a very, very long journey. And I started, one thing is that I've always been an entrepreneur. So I started my career as an entrepreneur, but I was doing sales and marketing and imports and those kinds of things, which I really enjoyed. But I also had the social kida in me, and I was sponsoring kids to schools right from the beginning. I was just telling someone yesterday that with my first paycheck, that's what I was doing. So I knew that this is something that gives me happiness. I went on for a while with just sponsoring kids to school and being sort of their de facto parent and showing up in the school for the parent-teacher meeting and all the other things, which I realized was like giving me maximum happiness when the oldest kid finished his class 10. And I thought that was a moment in my life when I said, I'm switching over. And that's when I switched over to being a social entrepreneur. I started a school for slum kids, which I ran for a while. And I do another project, which is again in the education space in the rural parts of the country. During my journey of starting various enterprises, I realized there were some common threads. And one of the common thread was the loneliness, and the loneliness that comes not just for any entrepreneur, but being a social entrepreneur was even more difficult. And being a woman, I guess, was very difficult. And when I realized this, I started talking to other women and they had similar experiences. And we started looking for data. Everything pointed towards one direction, that there was something that needed to be done about this. We needed to be together in the early years of our entrepreneurial journey. And that's when I said, okay, I should do something about it. And so in 2019 we launched Shakti, the Empathy Project, or STEP as we call it.
And in spite of me having heard the story before, just love hearing it once again. But when did Harvard happen, and what did you do at Harvard?
How it happened in between of this whole entrepreneurial, all these entrepreneurial projects. So when I was doing this School for Slum Kids, I realized that I was treating the symptom of the problem. And I wanted to get to the bottom of the problem itself, because no matter whatever I did, how many ever students we were supporting, from 10 to 200, we reached the number. Those were the number of students we were supporting every year. And yet, it didn't make any difference. So what was it that we were going wrong? So there were some systemic issues which I wanted to see. So my exploratory nature and learning nature took me to apply for Harvard. And fortunately, I got through. And I spent a year exploring answers to my problems, but I came back with more questions. And I'm still exploring the answers, though I do understand you. So, but one big shift is that I have started looking at things at a systemic level and try to find solutions at that point. So some of those things are like, now my projects stem out of that experience.
And we also got the privilege of meeting up with some of your people from the Harvard network. So in the cohort. And that was so amazing. That was one of the most amazing classroom sessions that I've ever had in my life. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
So, I will move to Aarti now. And Aarti, first of all, thank you so much for logging in at an unearthly hour. What time is it now? In which part of the US are you in now?
Yeah, I should provide context. I'm currently in the US for a few months. I am on the West Coast in San Francisco, so now it's 5:48 a.m., but I have my coffee, so it's all good.
God, okay. Thank you for doing this for us. I somehow knew that you would say yes, in spite of knowing that you were in the US. So, and that's what the cohort does to you, right? I mean, that there are some people you can just tell them, just ping them and say, hey, listen, we want you to just give up on your sleep and give up on, your little bit of luxury in the morning and come in and join us, and they will do it. And, Aarti just responded to that call as I expected she would. So thank you so much once again. Aarti, I really wanted you to tell the audience a little bit about Farmers for Forests. It is such a unique concept as a social enterprise and generally even as an enterprise. So just tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. So, so we started, I co-founded Farmers for Forests in December 2019. The idea was simple but lofty. It was, we wanted to protect and increase India's forest cover as a way to fight climate change at scale. But we wanted to do it in very close partnership with farmers, tribals, our rural communities. The reason we decided to choose this is because one is that I think, climate change, rising global temperatures is the challenge of our times. And if we don't take radical actions today, we are already witnessing what's happening, and I think the future generations more so. But the reason we decided to focus on forests is because we saw India making some progress in, say, cutting down emissions or focusing on renewable or clean energy. There's some progress being made on that. Where we are lagging completely behind, and even in terms of our Paris Agreement commitments, is our nature-based solutions. I would say we haven't even started progressing or achieving any of that. So, and when we looked at the data of the last decade or so, we realized that deforestation rates are exponentially increasing, especially of our old growth natural forests, which is very sad considering we are also going through the 6th mass extinction right now. Humans cannot survive without biodiversity and thriving natural ecosystems. And forests are the best, one of the best, arguably, carbon sequesters. So we were like, okay, let's look at the organizations in India and see who's working on this challenge. And there were a few organizations who are doing really good work. But we came across a model that we wanted to bring to India and pilot, which is known as the payment for ecosystem services. And I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but if anybody has questions, I can answer that. But what it allows us to do is implement very easily and scale relatively quickly. But we realized nobody was using that model in India. So we decided to start Farmers for Forest to pilot this model in India and see if we can make it work for India.
And such a unique model. And I think a lot of people are writing in the chat box. And in my screen, I see right next to you.
Want to what?
Use
directly.
Sorry,
you want to type in some? No, I will send it to my Gmail so that.
May I request you to put yourself on mute?
Need only to open WhatsApp.
Nitika, if you can just help out. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
What are you doing, Mama? Attending some webinar?
You can just thank you so much, Nitika. So coincidentally on my screen, Nayan is right next to you. So if this were a meeting room, that she will be next to you. And Nayan has actually worked on a project to create an urban forest out of bamboo. You'll be very happy to hear. She is doing it in Kolkata. And I'm also seeing Srilata, who's working on a project on composting of leaves. Thank you, Srilata, for sharing that. And it's wonderful to see all you folks actually sort of giving so much of yourselves into what we can do for the environment. So thank you for the movie, but just I wanted to wait for a minute before starting it. This is actually the story of Shakti, which Renu's team had put together. We thought it will actually give a great context to all that Renu and Aarti was saying, and our shared experiences, if you see that. We were the second cohort of Shakti, the Empathy Project, and the third cohort is coming up. So we're very excited to ask Renu what she has in mind for the third cohort, because Aarti and I have very fond memories of our days as a cohort member. So I'm sure that the third one, will have some surprises, and Renu, we will be waiting for all of those as well. But before that, we will just see this movie. It's a short 2-minute clip which tells us about Shakti, the Empathy Project, and how it started. So, Nitika, are you playing it? The sound is not coming, Nitika.
Just a minute, ma'am.
Yeah, you have to share sound.
Let's face it, that women entrepreneurs are not the first ones to get investors on board. Just the lack of all of this led me to start Shakti. My name is Renu Shah. I'm the founder of Shakti, the Empathy Project. It's an incubation program for early stage women social entrepreneurs. In 2019, these women, they raised 1.5 CR for their social enterprises. March 2020 happened and the pandemic changed everything. There was so much uncertainty that finding any support seemed really bleak to us. It was just then we heard about the Pragati project. It was an initiative by Facebook and Nudge, and we decided to apply for it. In June, we heard from them that we'd been selected, and that was the confidence that I needed. I think this initiative by Facebook is phenomenal, much needed at this time. And especially, they've chosen women entrepreneurs, and that is, I think, something that is really required. In November, we decided to measure the impact, which we had made thus far with the induction of these 16 new entrepreneurs. And we had already crossed a staggering 70,000 lives impacted. So it is not about changing lives of these just 16 women, but all the change that we create together. Mahatma Gandhi once said that entrepreneurs often fail to use their capabilities to the fullest. But once they do that, there's no looking back.
Thank you, Natika, for playing that, and brought back many fond memories of all the other cohort members that we had as well, and we saw some of them. My next question is really, back to Renu. Renu, sometimes we struggle to define a social entrepreneur. How do you really define a social entrepreneur? Who is a social entrepreneur?
There isn't a huge difference. An entrepreneur is an entrepreneur. You think of an idea and you start a project, and then you start working on it, and you face all the challenges of establishing that project and trying to make some sense out of it. Now, if that wasn't enough, you just add another layer of complexity to it, and you are not just looking for profits, but you're looking for social impact. So anything that will be measured, or that is on your mind that you want to measure, or that is the impact that you want to have beyond your profits, falls in the category of a social enterprise. So if you're working towards women's causes, if you're working towards the environment, or you're working towards mental health projects, or skilling, education, anything, they all will fall in the category of social enterprises. I do want to bust a myth here when people say that social enterprises are not money making. And that's a huge challenge, because it's not necessary. A social enterprise can be a for-profit enterprise or a non-profit enterprise. As long as you have the society's good at your heart, if that is the focus of your project, then it can be defined as a social project. All your activities will move in that direction, where just making profits by any, that cannot be really the focus of the work that you do. So when you're designing something, the societal good is at the center of the project, and everything else falls in the various boxes to complete the puzzle. And that's what social entrepreneurship is all about.
Thank you so much for that, because I think a lot of people have confusions about for-profit, non-profit, and whether a for-profit can actually be a social enterprise. And Renu's just busted a couple of myths over there. So thank you. Srilata, of course, you need to apply for the Shakti incubation program. I'm sure that we will be able to give you all the details, and where you'll find Renu will help us with all of that, and we will guide you. Thank you, Srilata. We will definitely open up for questions, and I'm sure I know the wonderful work that you do from my separate group that I'm with you in. I'm sure that everybody sitting here in this Zoom room will be interested in knowing this. The fantastic work, Srilata's stuff is actually beautiful. Thank you, Renu, for that. So I'm now going to jump to what we did as the second cohort, because that Srilata and everybody else who's here wanting to apply to Shakti's next cohort will actually get to know about it. And I'm going to request Aarti to tell us a little bit about what were our experiences. We came from very different walks of life, and most of us were from very different backgrounds, but we all got beautifully sewn in together in Shakti, the Empathy Project. And we used to meet every Tuesday, and it was great fun. So Aarti, would you like to relive some of those memories, and then maybe we'll play the video, and then we will request Renu to talk about the next cohort, what she has in mind.
Sure, yeah. So, so I think off the bat, I would say that, programs or incubators like Shakti, they're at the center of the ecosystem. So they can be a very successful, connecting link between, first and foremost, us sort of women founders, embarking on a similar journey. And one thing I realized over and over again is that you should never underestimate the power of network. They will become your champions, evangelists. They can unlock, doors to partnerships, funders. All of that happened to us. So I would say that's sort of one of the biggest value add of being participating in programs like Shakti. It gives you some sort of semblance of a firm footing in the industry, especially if you're completely new to the impact space. They can help you get that due support, which is also it's a huge morale booster, in a journey that can be often sort of riddled with roadblocks and naysayers or critics. That really does help, help you power through. The other thing I would say is, I'm kind of speaking a little more sort of broad level, and then I can go talk a little bit more about the sort of the specific sessions we had. But, two people who we met through the Shakti network are now our official advisors. They have helped us, brainstorm through everything, from legal and compliance challenges to organizational structures to, opening fundraising doors. And by opening, I mean not just facilitating introductions, but literally vouching for us in their networks, in meetings when we weren't even present. And that goes a long way. I think most people, especially in this space, understand the scale and gravity of the challenges that we and the world are facing. And if that drives you and your team, and if they can see that, I can't stress enough the value of, building a dedicated like a group of army of evangelists around you, and Shakti will help you do that. Also, equipping future organizations for work where you're, in our space, you're expected to work with civil society, with private sector, with the government. That requires us to stretch beyond sort of traditional, like academic educational pathways. It requires a very specific skill set that, as much help you can get, the better. So I think Shakti focuses on, developing leaders to run early stage startups. Like that's their focus, and that is needed. That's a huge value add. Everything from thinking through your theory of change, to how to set up a governance structure, to ethical leadership. They will equip you with how to think through these things, and you will definitely need that on this journey. So I would say that sort of encapsulates sort of my experience with Shakti.
Thank you, Aarti. I think you've done a brilliant job and also sort of captured most of what I would have said. So I will request Naitika to play the video of the Shakti experience of our cohort, my favorite video, because a lot of beautiful moments of my friends, people who have become friends now, are captured over there. So
Adra, you'll have to give us 2 minutes for the video. There is some...
Oh, it's not playing properly.
Yes, it's not playing. Yes, we need access. I'm just organizing.
Just a minute. Yeah, just a minute. I'll just do it in a minute.
Is it happening? Otherwise, we'll come back to this because there's lots of other things we need to ask as well. So we can maybe start with the next bunch, and whenever you guys are ready, then we'll play the video. So moving over to Renu, and I think the best the best sort of endorsement for any program is not the founder talking about it, but the others talking about it, which is what we're exactly doing here, Renu. And Aarti and I are reliving those fond memories that we had as a member of the Shakti project. But the third cohort is coming up, and there are so many people who are interested. I'm seeing Gitanjali here, and of course, Srilata, Nayan, all of them really have questions. So we will have questions, guys, at the end of this. But Renu, what is coming up in the third cohort? We are all very curious to know. Tell us a little bit about what you have in mind.
I'm so happy to see Aarti. And I'm also so happy to hear Aarti. So, it's just so interesting. It's like, it's nostalgic almost, though it's just been 2 months, but so much has happened in these last 2 months that feels really good. So coming on to the next cohort, I think you all did a fantastic job of helping us establish the program really well. We are hoping to continue the same format in the coming cohort also. It will also focus on the Tuesday learning sessions. We will have mentorship sessions as we had last time. I mean, the format by and large will remain the same. So it'll be divided in 3 separate parts, clearly visible, So the first will be the induction. The nature of induction will be a little different. It will focus more on soft skills and getting to know each other and spending more time with each other. Then the meat of the program, as we say, is learning sessions and mentorship, and trying to help the incubatees move to the next step wherever they are. Wherever they are, our job is to see that they are able to move to the next level. So if somebody who has already got a very good impact measurement metrics in place, but could be struggling at financial modeling, or somebody who really has the financial model or the business plan in place, but could be struggling at the impact metrics. So for us, it is important that everybody gets to the next level. And that's what we define our success as, that we've been able to handhold or at least give a window to what the next step should look like. And these are the important components of the program, and everybody should do that. While there are other benefits, as Aarti also mentioned, but I think learning and community are the biggest part of it. And so we will be making some changes in the way we are dealing with the community building exercises, or just coming together to feel more connected. That's some very small tweaks are there, but by and large, the program will remain like that. And we will, of course, close it with the Pitchfest again in the month of March. That's what we'll do over the 2 days. So induction and learning, mentorship, and Pitchfest is what the whole journey of 6 months will look like.
Fantastic. And I'm just going back to those days. And for those of you who, want to know, the Pitchfest is actually a brilliant exercise. It helped all of us thinking very, very precisely about the problem that we were trying to solve and about, what we were really trying to do to the world. And we had to do that in 5 minutes. It gave me so much of confidence after that to be able to talk about Aspire for Her in 5 minutes, because before this I didn't think that I would be able to say anything in 5 minutes. It was all a very long drawn sort of a conversation, which I was always doing. But the Pitchfest really helped me sharpen my pitch, so to say. And it really helped. I use that video all the time. I use that video in all conversations. Now it's become a little old because we've done so much after that. But I actually keep using that video. So thank you for bringing up the Pitchfest, Renu. And it really helps sharpening the message and getting it across to potential stakeholders. So we wanted to relive the memories a little bit. And so we will just request Naitika to now play the video so that we can see what was really our experience like and what are we talking so fondly about. So, Naitika, over to you.
What is Shakti?
Shakti is knowledge.
Shakti means power.
Shakti is strength.
But specifically, Shakti is strength of community.
A step to a future where we learn and grow together.
Soar high and fill our mind with passion.
In a journey of introspection and reflection.
Disabling barriers, enabling women. A safe space for making friends and an adventure.
Been a learning hub to me.
Like a family to me.
This is my space. And it's okay if I don't know everything. I can always ask questions.
Shakti, for giving us this platform and building this community.
For being a part of our journey of introspection and self-discovery.
In navigating through several challenges which a first-time founder would have.
Confidence and strengthen the ability to perform better.
We all love you and appreciate your hard work and willingness to support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Naitika. And that was what Shakti was to all of us. And, for everyone who wants to apply, that's what you're also going to get, except that I'm sure that there will be more thinking behind it and more learning, probably, from the learnings that our cohort managed to sort of put together and ensure that Renu and her wonderful team, I'm sure they have woven that into the new program. So thank you, Madhavi. I am going to open up to questions now because there are lots of questions here and I would like to, kind of skip on that time. So anybody who wants to get started, Srilata, Kanchan, Gitanjali, Nayan, a lot of you have been posting. We'd love to, any one of you can get started and ask questions to any of us. I'm sure while Renu will be probably at the receiving end of more questions, but Aarti and I are also there to answer any if you have it. Thank you, Jasmine, for posting that. For all entrepreneurs out here, if anyone hasn't yet joined our network, please do that. It's right here. Jasmine has just posted the link. Please feel free to join. Anybody who has a dream, anybody who wants to, has the passion to start something, even if you are not an entrepreneur, you're most welcome to join. It's not, EntrepreNaari is not just for entrepreneurs.
Thanks, Madhura, for that. Can I go ahead and ask a question?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So, wonderful to be here. First of all, Madhura, thanks for starting EntrepreNaari. It's a much needed initiative for women entrepreneurs. And, thanks to Renuji and also Aarti for sharing a lot of their knowledge here today. And also, willing to support more and more women entrepreneurs. So I'm the founder of Loan Genie based out of Bangalore. And we give small personal unsecured loans to salaried people. And it's a for-profit with purpose. So that's where my interest in, these sessions comes in, wherein we are also trying to see how we can benefit the society around us. So my question to both Renuji and Aarti is, and Madhura, please feel free to answer as well. I will just was trying to understand what are the key challenges you as women entrepreneurs face, and and how would you say do you overcome those challenges these days?
Should I go first, or Aarti, you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
I'm going to let Aarti and Madhura answer some parts of the question, but I want to know a little bit about your work, Kanchan. That's a great question, and I think you have answers to some of those questions. What are the challenges that you are facing as an entrepreneur? How old is your enterprise, as I'm going to ask you? So how old is your enterprise, Kanchan?
So it's been 4 years that I'm working on this. Mm-hmm. And so we basically our focus is on financial inclusion, and we look at providing access to basically loans to people who have low or no credit scores. So actually this whole thing started because of my experience of trying to take a loan and facing a frustrating time, providing a lot of documentation. It was taking a lot of time, and did a little bit of research, found out that millions of people, I think close to 40% of the population faces this problem. So started focusing on this area, and then slowly got into after researching, after talking to people, attending courses, got into this. So now we have reached a stage wherein we have given loans to people in Bangalore, and we have got them back. But now we're trying to see how we can enhance the impact, reach more and more people, develop a technology platform. So that's the stage I'm at.
So you've answered all the questions that you had. So what are the challenges that an entrepreneur faces? These are the challenges an entrepreneur faces. So first, the very early stages when you have an idea and you're trying to put that idea in place.
Right.
The second stage is scaling up. So if you have solved the first part of it, that you have put your idea in place and you have your proof of concept, or you also have now gone to the market and you have some experience of finding success in what you're doing in your model, you have figured all of that out. So that was all focused on Bangalore. Now you're looking at scaling up. So for an entrepreneur, the next part of her journey is scaling up the project, and exactly the challenges that you have faced. So in the program, as Aarti and Madhura will talk about it a little bit more, so some of these things you haven't articulated, like for example, you talked about your challenges with impact. And that's a struggle that a lot of social entrepreneurs face, that how do they articulate their impact? How do they measure their impact? And some of us are able to do it better than the others, but generally we're struggling on that. But then you also have a mentor who will be specifically focused on your problems and will help you look at your challenges in a way that you can answer them. And help you scale the program or help you build those strategies. Or if you have built those strategies, then probably he or she could be a sounding board and see how you're going to work around those strategies to scale up your project. So as an entrepreneur, we all have to do the work ourselves. We have people who will provide that supporting environment so that you don't get bogged down by the challenges that you are facing. And I can guarantee that a lot of entrepreneurs here, either in today's session or otherwise, there's so many times we just think that we should give up. Why are we even doing it? Right? Madhura, Aarti, can you vouch for that? And then what is it that you do then? So we have to do the work, but having a supportive network is what helps us just remain focused and get out of those low points where we think that there is no way out, and how do we move on with our project. We don't want to give up, but it just seems so difficult. I'm stuck on strategies. And so is there anyone that I can talk to about strategies? So that's what Shakti is going to provide. And I'm talking more in the umbrella sense, and probably Madhura and Aarti can give you specific examples with their own mentors and learning sessions.
Sure. Thank you, Renuji.
I can kind of just quickly second what Renu was saying, that, so what's hard is that, one is that right off the bat, you're fighting some like cultural issues. The way we look at success, can be a little narrow-minded or limited. And starting your own organization is risky, no doubt. And in India, so the focus is always on getting reputable jobs in a reputable company. I think we have a very low tolerance for failure in our country. And, failure, I would say, is the biggest sort of skills builder, at least for us. So because of all of that, not everyone's sort of immediate ecosystem will be their biggest cheerleader, which really sort of sucks. That was not the case for me, but I suspect that I'm in a very small minority. I think for the first few months, to fund any new venture, including our organization, we had to rely on family and friends for the initial funding, our seed money. So I can only imagine how hard it would have been to not have that access to that initial sort of pot of capital. So, so what we did was that coincidentally, me and my co-founder, who are friends from undergrad, we went to a women's college, and the alumni network is the strongest I've ever seen. Right. So we were able to leverage, and I keep mentioning that network to get us started initially. Right. Like they connected us to people, they championed us, they vouched for us, they spread the word. And it just so happens that a lot of people from that college are entrepreneurs now, and in India and around the world, and really sort of, and are sort of senior level sort of leadership positions in organizations that were synergistic to what we are doing in climate change. So that really helped a lot. So yeah.
Okay, thanks for that, Aarti. Thanks.
I think similar. I'll echo similar views here. Having a great network is so important. At Aspire for Her, we have over 100 mentors, and they are part of my past life in various ways, whether it's school, college, or whether it's the corporate life that I led. I think that's one of the biggest support systems that we have, and I have some of them. Fortunate to have some of them here. I can see Nayan. I know some of them are watching on LinkedIn, and it has been absolutely amazing to have them by my side. The mentor who I had at STEP, at Shakti, the Empathy Project, was absolutely amazing. There are so many times when he ensured that he broadened my horizons. And he also helped me make that shift from a typical corporate mindset to a more entrepreneurial mindset. For me, that was very important because I had spent 25 years in the corporate world. I was used to certain luxuries of the corporate world, like having a secretary to do lots of things, having a large office and all of that. And suddenly I was finding myself without all of that. It was initially quite difficult for me to get used to it. But I think thanks to my mentor at Shakti, I quickly found my feet, and I never really looked back after that. So now I don't miss my secretary anymore, and I'm much more technologically, I think, agile than I used to be, because I do my own work, manage my own calendar. I think that's a big step for me. So Kanchan, yeah, I think having a bunch of cheerleaders, having a great network is really, really important. And thank you for that question. And can we move to Kudrat? And I'm so happy that Kudrat has joined us.
Thank you, Madhura. Thank you.
Yeah. Other thing, I wanted to also share, especially women who are driving a purpose. Okay, so it's not just an entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur who's driving a purpose, who happens to be a woman. There is no support anywhere, okay? So that is the time when you need like-minded people. That is the time we really kind of build up on each other's strength of like-minded people to kind of cover the journey, to have the journey. And I think that's again, where Shakti, where, this EntrepreNaari, these play an extremely important role.
Thank you, Nayan. And you are the wind beneath our wings. So thank you so much for all the help that you provide us. And I'm sure that, our impact is really going to be looking far more impactful now that, you are taking care of it. So thank you.
Good evening. This is Srilata here.
Hi, Srilata.
Hi. Thank you so much. As I told you, I had applied for Shakti last year, but I think needed to be registered, and I have probably completed that first step this year, and I will definitely be applying. My main challenge, of course, is scaling up, because my product is someone else's product. So I don't make anything, and I am that bridge in between. I basically have been promoting and selling eco-friendly products made by social groups across the country. So I run a campaign which I call the Sell in India campaign. And I basically feel that Make in India will be successful only if it is complemented with Sell in India. So that is my main forte. But what I have realized is there are a lot of overheads. We are all aware about that. And I don't want to recover, or I don't want these overheads to be recovered from the profit of my products, because that doesn't work that way. So I've always tried to I've been trying to find out some alternative sources from where I can cover the overheads. As a result of which, as rightly Madhura ma'am put it, I mean, she had to move down from the luxury of having a secretary. I think I can never have a luxury of a secretary because I can't pay one. As simple as that. I have been doing a lot through networks, and I've had some fantastic people working for me totally voluntary. But we are all aware about the limitations of being voluntary. So the commitment and things like that. So I'm really looking at what could be those alternative means. I'm also working on a strategy as to how I'll develop my corpus through families and friends and all my customers. But what could be that best way to generate just enough money so that I can run and scale up my course?
Okay, that's a very specific question, Srilata. Thank you for asking that. Before I answer that, I will just get into what is the application process and then how can you apply and all of those things. And what is the criteria? So like we're talking about entrepreneurship with social impact, of course, that is the bottom line of the program. And that is the biggest criteria for applying. You have to be a woman, you have to be 18 years. I'm going to turn off my video for a bit because there's a network issue. You have to be 18 years of age. You have to be a woman or at least identify yourself as a woman. Your startup can be for-profit or non-profit, but it must have social impact. And one important aspect is that you should be registered. So you should have incorporated your startup. You should also have a proof of concept. So these are some of the things that you should have done when you apply for the STEPS program. And as Srilata mentioned that she did not make it to the cohort last year, and I am sure it was one of these reasons that she could not make it to the cohort. So if you check all these boxes, then feel free to apply. The applications you can find on our website, and I posted the link to the website. I'm going to post it again. The last date of application is 10th of July. So with that, and then there's going to be a very stringent selection process because the program is free of cost. For you, it is free of cost, but what we expect from you is that after you've graduated, you will come back as mentors or you will come back as facilitators. So you will probably engage in some sort of forward giving, paying it forward. So the selection process itself is going to make you think a lot about the work that you are doing. What are the challenges that you're facing? So you'll have a 4-stage selection process where we'll first look at your application, and that application is going to make you think about your model, about your team, what you're looking at achieving. And the second thing is that we'll ask you for your business plan. The third is that you will be interviewed by the mentors. So all these things will actually also help you to define your project and how you're going to take it forward. In terms of specific answers, like Srilata just asked, I think we need a deeper understanding of your startup, what exactly you're doing and how you stuck, where you stuck, what is it that can be done to support you, what is the structure in which you are registered, how can you do fundraising. Some of these questions are larger questions which require a longer conversation, and I'm happy to have that conversation with you, Srilata. Right now, I think this is not the forum to discuss your project in a very long detail, so we can probably set up a separate time, or if you've applied for the current upcoming cohort, then these questions will be asked to you any which ways.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I will be applying definitely.
Thank you. We'll look forward to your application.
Gitanjali had a question, I believe.
Yeah. Hi, Deepika.
Yeah.
Thank you. So thank you. This is very interesting. And I have been a part of few cohorts, but as I don't remember who, because I was going in and out of the network. But somebody was mentioning that this all pandemic has just brought all the women entrepreneurs a scale down because that networking is not happening physically. So I'm really looking forward to this course, but I have a few questions. One is that how many seats are there? I mean, how many women will be chosen finally? Number two, is there any grant that we get at the end of it, like a fixed grant, or is it like an open pitch where any investor can or cannot invest? Third is, can you just tell me some names of health mentors? Like, because my project, my startup is a health startup, a femtech startup. So I would like to know that if there are some names in health mentors, or maybe you can send me separately, so that will give me much more confidence into this and an idea of what to expect.
Right. So let's go question by question. Your first question is the size of the cohort, which is 15 to 20. So 20 is the maximum number of incubatees we take per cohort. Your second question is about the grant. So we do give out grants. Last year we had given out grants, and the grant, what we do is that it's not a competition. It's the cohort which decides who's going to get how much grant. So, we put out the total amount of money that we are going to give out, and then they vote and we vote, and put together we find who's getting what amount of money. So the grants are given. The third is, but these are smaller grants. What is expected is that if you have startups which are already at a position where they will be able to fundraise, and that's where you're learning and you're putting the pitch together and participating in the Pitchfest works, that if there is any investor who's interested in your startup, then we connect them. They reach out to us and they say that this is the startup we're interested in. We make the necessary connections, and then it's up to you and the investor and how it works out. Your one more question was health mentors. So basically, when we are matching the mentor and the mentee, we do look at the background of the mentees, and based on that we match. It may not be necessary that it would be exactly in the same industry, but they would be experts in the area. So for example, right now you're thinking that your mentor has to come from the space of health. However, I don't know what is it that you are really missing in your startup right now. Is it the financials that you're struggling with? Is it a go-to-market strategy that you're struggling with? Or is it articulation or some other form that you're struggling with? Maybe you've got your product right. So just with this conversation, I will not be able to answer that. But once we assess that what is the biggest gap that you have, if it's in the business, then you will get a business mentor. If it is in the product, then we will get you a product mentor. So we try and match the for-profits with for-profits and non-profits with non-profit mentors. But in terms of the gaps, first we have to assess what is the gap. We see the gap from our point of view, but that's not the full picture. So mostly, I think the mentor and mentee matching is done really well at STEP. And I think Aarti can talk a little bit about her mentor, how she felt about her. Madhura just spoke about her mentor, and I think Aarti can also say something about her mentor at STEP.
Oh, thank you. I think that pretty much answers my questions. Yes, Aarti, please.
Yeah, I was just going to sort of add on to what Renu was mentioning. I think I had the assumption too that because we work in the environment or climate change mitigation space, the person who should advise us should sort of be working in that space as well, exclusively in that space, and realize that's actually not true at all. Our mentor, who's now our official advisor at Farmers for Forests, is a out-and-out finance guy, but is more knowledgeable about conservation and the environment than any other person I know. The other thing is that we as this organization was struggling to understand how to be, so we are structured as a not-for-profit right now, Section 8 not-for-profit, moving towards a hybrid model. And we were trying to figure out a way to be a little more financially sustainable, where we don't have to rely so much on institutional grants as a way to fund our organization, because the work we do is very capital intensive. So that was what we needed help with, trying to figure out what are the financial instruments out there, what are the mechanisms through which we can unlock more capital. And he helped us with that. So, it really depends. I think you would be the best judge of sort of figuring out where the gaps are, and not necessarily focus on sectoral experience as much as sort of the specific sort of skills that somebody can fill in for those gaps.
Okay. Thank you. That makes sense. And I got the answers. Thank you.
We have a question from Kudrat and Aishwarya. I think we're coming. We have crossed the time limit. We thought we'll finish by 7, but this is such an enchanting conversation that we don't want to finish it. Kudrat, you want to go next?
Yes. Thank you, Madhura. Thank you, Renu, and everybody for organizing this. I was also cognizant of the time, and I thought I'll just say thank you and say that I'll follow up with these questions. The conversations opened up, so I'll definitely write to all of y'all. But just as a thought, something that I am really passionate about is knowledge sharing and experience sharing. So to simply put, if I fall in somewhere today, I would not want someone else to fall there. And if I see that happening in front of my eyes, it really pains me. So that's why I've sort of given a suggestion in the chat box that it will be great, Renu, to know from you if there's a sort of a repository which is accessible to all entrepreneurs in terms of, these are the lessons learned, maybe sector specific or more general, however that is. Maybe there's something already in place. If there isn't, I think it'll be a great idea to explore this further, and I'll be happy to support. I'm a lawyer by qualification and practice, but now I'm tending towards digitalization and use of technology to, really put our experiences in a place in a way that it's accessible to everybody.
Great. Kudrat, thank you for saying that. We've been working on it. After the second cohort, we realized that we needed to put this together. So we are working on it, and the repository will be out soon. Meanwhile, I have put my email address on the chat box. Please write to me so that we can discuss this more. Learnings is important. So a lot of it is because, we can just capture it from other people's experience. So
absolutely,
we are putting that together. Even on a blog, we put out the stories of the Shaktipreneurs, what their journey has been like as an entrepreneur. And that also is a space where one can read and learn about how they have managed the challenges and how they've built their enterprises. That's one place we've already started, and we're putting together the case studies now, and that also should be out very soon.
Super, great to know that. Thank you, Renu.
You should just add a line about what you do, because it's very interesting what you do. So I think everybody here will want to know just a line about that. You're on mute, Kudrat.
All right, great. So I'm the founder of YCM. YCM is India's first youth-run organization focused on conflict management and mediation. So we're trying to bring a culture to India where youngsters and young professionals are equipped with skills to deal with conflicts in different domains of life, from work, home, college, or any type of internal conflicts as well. So that's what we're trying to do. And our mantra is focus, train, collectivize. So we are building conflict management skills. We are training youth, not just lawyers, because dispute resolution is not just for lawyers, but everybody. We're trying to break that stereotype and reach out to students and young professionals to train them in conflict management skills and certify them as conflict managers. And lastly, we partner with educational institutions to set up these youth-run centers, so that if in that space of community, there's some sort of dispute or issues which are going unaddressed, you can come to this youth-run center and have that addressed. So that's what we're working on.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And I'm really happy to hear that you are normalizing that. Otherwise, it just seems like that there's one sector which is supposed for all conflicts of this country or of this world. But it's something that everybody, all of us need to do all the time. So fantastic work that you are doing, Kudrat. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kudrat, for that. Aishwarya, we have last question from Aishwarya.
Yes, thank you so much. I think I just made it in time. Thank you for putting the whole workshop together. It was so amazing, the energy. So first of all, that. And I quickly had a question because I was wanting to apply for the cohort. So actually, I right after college, which is 2 years back, I worked for 2 years on developing a technospatial product, normalize waste in waste processing in the cities, and not have these waste processing spaces or waste collection areas as backyards of the city, but like have through design and integration, it can actually become a sustainable part of our city systems. So, and that funding was by MHRD. And so I have proof of concept, but I do not have a registered firm or anything registered in that sense. So I wanted to understand what is the way forward, and how can something like this be reached out, like in terms of how can this be taken forward really?
So basically, Aishwarya, I think it would be better that I have a more detailed conversation with you. You can write to me at Renu@shaktipreneurs.org, And because we definitely need you to register yourself to be, even eligible to apply for the program.
So does registration mean being registered, but like, do I have to be in business? Because I know the product has to be developed further, and although I have proof of concept and there are people who are there to support it, but what would registration really mean in that sense?
I mean, I would love to hear in more detail about the work that you are doing and where you are in your journey to be able to guide you better. So I've just put my address in the chat box. Just write to me. We'll set up a call and I'll try and understand that at what level you are, and do you need to register right now? Can you register later? What are the benefits of registering and what sort of an organization you should register? So those are some of the things that we can go through with you and then see what is the best solution for you.
Fantastic. I've taken a note.
Apply it next year, all of those things we can discuss.
Okay, I will write to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Aishwarya, for that question.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the questions. Thank you for making this such a wonderful discussion. When we decided to do this, we didn't really have too much time to talk to people because this is the first ever event that we were doing and we were so closely following the heels of the launch. But we wanted to do this fast because we wanted to give people the time to apply because 10th of July is the last date for applications. We wanted people to have that time to mull over the process and to ask any questions they had of Renu. And today, I think Renu, Aarti, you guys have answered so many questions of real life issues of social entrepreneurs who are all wanting to apply, who are all wanting to scale up. So fills our heart to see that EntrepreNaari is off to a fantastic start with two of my really favorite people. So once again, thank you to all of you for tuning in. And thank you, Renu, Aarti. Thank you to everyone at Aspire for Her for being here and joining us in our joy as we launch EntrepreNaari properly. The next big launch is going to happen next month sometime. We have some very exciting things planned. Please do keep a lookout on social media to see what we are doing and do read our mails. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everyone joining.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.